Hello. If you are listening to the show in replay, I'm happy you're here listening in replay. But I would love it if the next time you come to the show live, because I'd like to feel your energy here. I love positive energy. The show will be starting in just a few moments. We're taking care of a few technical things first, so the show will go out
Stay
without a
tuned.
hitch,
The show is
hopefully.
about to begin.
But if you are listening to this in replay, you can fast forward past this spot and just get right into the show. There's another thing. If you're in the show and it seems that the image, my video, is too big for the screen, just pinch it down and it will bring it right into frame. Just pinch it down and you'll be able to see me perfectly. We've got about a minute and a half or so till showtime. And know that I do free readings here, free psychic empathic readings. And the show is all about you. And it's all about you. It's just plain and simple. So
Stay tuned.
I'm looking
The show
forward
is
to
about
doing
to
some
begin.
readings tonight. And if not, that's okay too. I can just talk. No problem. Also know that when you see the fortune cookie, you can click on that and it'll take you to all of my information. So the fortune cookie is that little scroll that goes across. So you just tap it and you can get my website and all kinds of information is there. So the show will be starting in just a moment. Oh, there we go. Now we have some audio. Well, hello, and welcome to The Soul Reader. I'm your host, Anthony Cordova, Tony C., the man about love, the Soul Reader. And I'm here to do free readings for you every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Fireside. So, tonight, the episode is Afraid of Death. Really, are you afraid of death? Many of us are. I am one person that is not afraid of death, which is cool. It makes it a lot easier for me to live my life and not worry about death and when is it going to happen and what is going to happen. So that's what we're doing tonight. So welcome if you're here watching this in replay. So I think tonight we're just going to get right into that topic about that. Let's see. Afraid of death. Are you afraid of death? It's a good question. When I was a child, I was really afraid of death. It was like a unknown. Where do we go? Where do we go when we cease to exist? When our heart stops beating? What happens? We get dished a lot of things where, oh, if you don't live a good life, you're going to hell. You're going to burn in hell. People tell us all the time when we're growing up. And even when we're adults, people will tell us, you're going to burn in hell if you don't do the right thing. Burn in hell. That's what people say. So I can see why people can be afraid of death. Oh, there's Giselle. Is that Giselle? Yeah, cool. Hi. Good to see you. So, Giselle, we're talking about death and whether you're afraid of death. Um, and like I was saying, a lot of people are afraid of death, but I am not one of the people that is afraid of death. And the question is, why is that? Why is that? Well, I'm going to tell you. Now, I've experienced something in my life that a lot of people haven't. Some of you know, well, a lot of you know if you're in this show, checking out the show, that I consider myself a psychic, natural born empath. Um, what I do best is being an empath and reading people and their emotions and what they're going through. And then I'm able to decipher that. My father uh, had psychic abilities too, and he actually saw dead people. I don't. I don't see dead people. Although it seems the older I get, the more I'm able to connect with people on the other side. Well, my father had been dead probably for 6 years already. And I was having this horrible, horrible dream. Horrible dream. But being that I have gifts also, some dreams are just dreams. Some dreams are visions. Sometimes it's just visions. They just come through to me. So I was having this horrible dream. And in my dream, consciously, I knew I was getting ready to have a heart attack because of this dream was so awful. And people have been known to die in their sleep from dreams and have a heart attack from their dream. And I knew that I was getting ready to die because of this dream. And at that moment, the dream changed. It was no longer a dream. Now, I'm going to condense this down, but my father's spirit came to me, and he came in this bright yellow, sunsetty looking light. And he actually saved my life then, because I know I was on the brink of dying. And at the same time, and then he materialized, and it was him standing in front of me. And he hugged me. And he said, "It's okay." But when he put his arms around me, he gave me this enormous amount of knowledge. He also let me feel the other side. So I'm not saying he took me to heaven, but he let me feel what it feels like there. The biggest thing I can tell you is love. This unconditional love that comes through, it's like nothing you'll ever feel while you're living as a human being on this planet. You won't be able to feel it. We are, most of us are incapable of releasing all of the things we have in us, uh, anger, pain, pettiness, um, jealousy, all of these things that we have as humans, and it's natural to have these things. If you didn't have all of these different types of emotions, you probably wouldn't be human. You'd probably be on the other side. But and again, this is the short story tonight. So he allowed me to feel the other side, and he gave me all of this knowledge, all of this knowledge on what we are, and what we're truly supposed to be, and what we when I say what we are, I'm actually saying what we really are, because we don't know what we really are. We don't know how incredible human beings are. We don't know the strength we have. We don't know what we're capable of. We can do amazing things. In the Bible, it says everything is on this planet. Everything is here that we need to cure ourselves of anything. And people usually think of plants, and plants that you can turn into medicine that can heal you and all of that. But what people don't think about is themselves and what we can do to heal ourselves. And I'm not just talking about physical ailments. I'm talking about mental things also. Now, I am not a doctor, and I don't say a human being can cure anything in the world about themselves. So I am not saying that. If you break your arm, you better go to the hospital, get it fixed, okay? But there are emotional things we can cure. There are actually physical ailments that we have within our bodies that we can help heal ourselves. And I'm not even talking about miracles. Now, that's something different, but I'm not talking about miracles. I'm talking about what we can do with a different state of mind. So, quite often, when people are severely depressed, and especially people that are severely depressed and don't understand that they are, they're just living. I was one of those people, just living and walking around depressed, thinking it's just life. This is just life, you know? But when you have all of this negativeness and trauma inside of you, it can cause you to have other physical ailments. When they say stress can kill you, stress can kill you. Yes, that really can happen. So when you are able, actually, let me backtrack. So I was able to feel the other side. I haven't been the same since. I've not been afraid of death. Now, I was depressed during that time, but I wasn't afraid of death. Um, and it was kind of difficult for me because I wanted to have that feeling back of what it felt like on the other side. You never feel it here. You never feel it while you're here. We don't understand that feeling because while we're on this planet, we have never felt it. And a person might say, well, maybe, isn't loving your child unconditional? Isn't it just ultimate love, just love for your child? Yeah, that's kind of close. But people still will put all this pressure on their children. And the love that's supposed to be unconditional is not unconditional. It is not. So that's not what that love feels from the other side. The love on the other side, you will not hate someone for being a different color. And on the other side, it's not like that. It's not anything like we believe it is. The only comparison we believe we have is things are here on how things are here on earth while we're living on this planet. But it is so completely different on the other side that while we're here, it is hard to comprehend. If I were to tell you you can be in 2, 3, 4, 5 different places all at the same time as different people, you would say, that's crazy. That sounds like it's nuts. Oh, Tony, you must be cuckoo. But on the other side, you can be all of those things. On the other side, you can actually see and feel that we are all truly connected. Not just saying we're truly connected, we are physically truly connected. So we are all one. We are many and we are one because we're all connected. So I tell people, how can you hate a person of a different color that's actually a part of you? We all have come from the same creator. On the other side, there's no worries. You're not worried about a roof over your head. You're not worried about what kind of car you drive. It's a beautiful place. And some of us on this planet, when we pass over, some of us have some lessons to learn. But it's all a part of growing, of being an incredible being. So I understand it's hard for me to tell you all of this and for you to feel it and understand it because it is so different on the other side. And some people will say, well, if it's so great on the other side, why don't you just rush the process? But no, that is not our place. We all have work to do while we're here. And all of us are different. Different people have different missions. Different people have to learn different things while they're here. Different people are going to do different things. But if we live here like we're supposed to live, it's a good journey. So yeah, it's not our place to rush it. And people will say, people get real concerned when there is somebody commit suicide, especially family members, and they are concerned about uh, their loved one going to hell. Now, I do know that there is good and evil. There's negative and positive. There's high vibration, there's low vibration. Okay. All of these are different levels of consciousness on the other side. People that may have taken their own life because of a mental illness, that's different. It's not selfish. It's not leaving here for selfish reasons. It's leaving here because of a mental illness. Now, how they progress when they get to the other side is kind of up to them. If you're able to leave the worldly stuff behind, it's easier for you to learn what you need to learn on the other side and go to, let's say, a higher plane, a higher vibration, more positivity. So, some of you have had loved ones that have left on their own, and you're really concerned about them, and you can't feel them. When you come here to this show, chances are I can feel them. Like I said, I'm mostly an empath. So when I connect to someone on the other side, I feel them. I don't see them standing in front of me. I feel who they are, who they were when they were here. I can feel how they're progressing on the other side, if that makes sense. Um, Sometimes it's hard for me to put that into words, what they feel like on the other side. Sometimes, on this show, there are certain audience members that will come here, and I immediately light up because some people, while they're here, are closer to living that. Well, no, let's put it this way: to being that pure type of person that we're supposed to be. So they're just that way without trying. So when people come to the show, or if I meet someone that has that type of energy, I just start smiling and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy to see you. In my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy to feel you because I feel that energy. I feel that love. They have it inside them. But a lot of us we all have that love in us. But through life, that love gets pushed down and gets pushed down deep inside of us, deep inside of us. This is why some people are just angry. all the time. Because life has pushed down that love, that unconditional love, that love for a fellow human being. It gets pushed down. And we have a hard time living in that love. It's like love is the most important thing. And that's what the other side is. That love that we have never experienced here. If you had that type of love, you would never say, I hate that person. You would never say, I hate that group of people. You would never say that. Because you would only be able to treat that person with love. The unconditional love that's on the other side. A friend of mine told me, he said, yes, that's the Jesus kind of love. And how do we do that? I've read the Bible from end to end twice. And I don't go to church. I grew up in a church. I've been to church many times, but I don't go to church on the regular. Because being that I'm an empath, when I go to the church and I feel that the priest is not living a godly life, a life like Jesus would, that the priest or the preacher is saying one thing, is reading the Bible one way, but then that preacher, that the priest I can feel hatred for certain people of the congregation. Maybe that preacher has hatred for lesbians. Maybe that preacher has hatred for transgender people. Maybe for gay people. Now, I do know no one is perfect. No one is. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. None of us are perfect. But if someone is the leader of the church and he's putting out hatred to his congregation, his or her congregation, that is not a place I want to be. If I go to a church and I know completely that the preacher is dishonest and steals from the church, I can't be there. I can't follow a person like that. I can't do it. And, the question is, how do we get to heaven? Let's just call it heaven. I call it the other side, but let's just call it heaven. How does a person get to heaven if they're following someone that hates other people? What is that about? And guess what? They'll even get to heaven because we're not perfect. We're all flawed. But I can't knowingly follow someone that is showing one thing and living a different way. That will make things harder for me when I get to the other side because I'm being misled. So when I get to the other side, I got a lot of stuff to learn. I got a lot of stuff to unlearn. So if you're living your life in the way you should, and here's the clincher, most of us know how we should live. Most of us know how we should conduct ourselves while we're here. We know. We can feel it. We can feel it deep inside of us. Unless, you have a mental condition like a sociopath or something like that. But otherwise, we know. When a person does something wrong, they know they're doing something wrong. They can feel it. Most of us do. We feel it. Oh, I'm doing something wrong, but I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, I'm doing something wrong, but I'm going to make this money. Oh, I'm doing something wrong. It's going to hurt this person. It's going to hurt my close friend, but I'm still going to do it. I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to sleep with my friend's husband or wife. You know. You know what you're doing. When you vocalize you have hatred for someone, maybe your parents taught you that. Maybe your grandparents taught you to hate someone else. But deep inside, you know this isn't right. But you do it anyway. And that's where the fear comes from. That's where the fear of death comes from. Because deep inside, you know you weren't living a good life, a righteous life, a kind life, a loving life. We know who we are. We walk around and act like we don't know who we are. We know who we are. We know the things we do wrong. We know the things that when we do it, it just doesn't feel right. And the more you do it, the easier it is for you to do. If I was always doing wrong stuff, I'd be worried about going to heaven too, or what would happen after I die. Where am I going to go? So, live differently. Start showing some love for your fellow human being. And you know what? That fear of death, that fear of what's going to happen on the other side, where am I going to go? Poof, it'll go away. Because you have nothing to fear. Learn to forgive yourself. And then start living differently. Start living with love in your heart. And you'll shake that fear of death. The other side is blissful. And you worry about, what am I going to do at the other side? You're gonna live in bliss and love. And you won't be alone. You won't be alone. If you're worried about being alone, if while you're living on this planet you've been worried about being alone, you will not be alone on the other side. And guess what? You're not alone when you're here. Because they're all with us. Our ancestors are with us. Our loved ones are with us. People we never met before. They're all there. They're all there. The same way people say God is watching over you. Yes, Holy Spirit is watching over you, along with everyone else. Everyone else. So start to love. Just start to love people. Start to be kind to people. And you can shed that fear of death. You can shed that. Now, yeah, easy for me to say. Oh, easy for you to say, Tony, because you can feel people on the other side. Yeah, I can. So yeah, that does make it a little easier for me to know that I need to love people. But think about this. Why would I come and create a show that I am connecting to people on the other side, that I am telling everyone things about themselves that will help them heal? Why would I put myself in that position? Why would I do that? The only thing I gain from this is knowing that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. That's it. That's my joy. That's my love. So that's why I do this show. When I say I love you all, I really mean I love you all. When I say I love you all, I also see and feel the connection to all of you. Whether you're in pain, whether you're a joyous person, whether you don't know whether to go right, left, up, or down. If you don't know why you're angry at everyone, I feel that. I know that. It's always easier, and all of you know this, it's always easier, and the other person doesn't even have to have any gifts, for someone on the outside to see your life clearer than you can see it yourself. Just a regular person can see that, oh, you're with the wrong person. People see that all the time. Tell their friends that all the time, but they're not ready to hear it. So where you can just see it from using your eyes and your ears and the actions a person does to another person when they're in a relationship. So I see all that stuff too, but yet I also feel it. I feel it. And even though I have that extra sense to feel it, I can tell people, but they're still not ready to hear it. And that's okay. As long as I did what I was supposed to do. All of these things can help a person heal a little bit. So maybe I tell them, maybe someone else tells them, maybe another. On this show, there have been so many times where I will tell someone something and they will say, 3 other psychics told me the same thing. And they still probably didn't hear it. They still probably didn't receive it. When I say receive it, that means changing, accepting it, change how you live, change your perception of things, heal. Then you can start to heal when you receive the message. And the message can come from anywhere. It can come from me. It can come from a stranger on the street. But you don't hear it until you're ready to hear it and act on it. We don't have to be sad all the time. We don't have to be angry. We don't have to be upset and feel like we got the short end of the stick in life because things just seem to never work out. It's love. It's forgiveness. You live with love in your heart. Real love. Your life will change. It will. I mean, it will. I always keep it simple behind me. Because yes, life is difficult. But a lot of times, it's us making it more difficult on ourselves. So yeah, I know I said this several times already. Start loving. Start loving your fellow human being. And you will not be afraid of death. You won't. It won't be possible. It won't be possible. All right. I've talked about 40 minutes about not being afraid of death. I know there's no one in the audience tonight except Giselle. So thank you for being here. Yeah, so I'm not doing any readings. I don't think Giselle wants a reading tonight. But if you do, I will do one for you. Just let us know. But other than that, I think I'm going to end this show. Well, Jill, do you have a hand raised?
I know it's shocking that you said you're ending the show and I tell you I want to say something. But I know that's shocking.
Yes, it is.
I have a question that I think a lot of people are wanting to know based on what you said in those 40 minutes, which is in this era today, in today's world, there are a lot of people who are outright showing hatred here on earth. So when those people die, what happens?
When those people die, they're going to have a lot of lessons to learn. So when I talk about positive and negative, we're talking about heaven and hell. Let's think up, down, heaven and hell, high vibrations, low vibrations. Okay. So those people were not living the type of life while they were here as they should. As a matter of fact, they go beyond just one person not liking another person. It gets into hatred. It gets into wanting to hurt physically, to kill another person that they don't even know, just because they got it in their head that they should hate another person, that they're superior than another person, that they are supreme, the supreme race than anyone else. That is not what we're supposed to be believing in as human beings. So when they get to the other side, there's a lot of lessons they have to learn. Now, the question is, who teaches those lessons? Well, we can call them angels. We can call them guides. We could call them ancestors. Okay? But on the other side, there's many, I'm going to say many, I don't want to say people. They are people, but they're more than people on the other side. And they're there to help these people, the ones that had the hatred and all of that. The problem comes in is that if they're so fixated on that hatred, when they get to the other side, they're not able to listen. They're not able to understand it because they're still filled with hatred. And you can call that a sort of living hell. Okay? Because they're not feeling the love on the other side. They're not feeling that unconditional love, that glorious love. They're not feeling it. So that can be like a hell. And they can torment themselves. And the more they stay in that mind, the worse it gets. So we're talking about higher vibrations and lower vibrations. They may get to the other side at this level, but if they keep having that hatred, they go lower and lower and lower. And that's what happens.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, again, am I going to end this show? We got some outro music. And Giselle, thank you for staying for the whole show. If any of you did listen to this on replay, I'm glad you did. I'm very happy that you did. This was the first show I didn't do any readings. It was okay because I can talk all by myself. But hopefully you heard the message. Hopefully you start changing the way you live. You start changing the way you look at people, the way you interact with people. Hopefully this makes a difference. because this is what I'm supposed to do while I'm here. And this is what I'm doing. Here I am. So again, thanks for being here. Check out the Fortune Cookie. It has all my information. It'll take you to my website, knowtoBeStill.com. That's KNOW, still.com. And I do love you all. I am going to take myself off a video, and then I'm going to close this show out. Yes. And again, I'm so happy, Giselle, you were here, and I'm so happy for all of you that have listened to replay. And please come to the show live on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I love Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. That was wrong. Yes, 9 p.m. Eastern.